What's good, YouTube? It's Davy V back at you. Uh, Working on a developing story about an incident, a disturbing incident here in Rochester, New York. The incident occurred yesterday, Saturday afternoon, at Rochester, New York's annual Park Ave Festival. As some of you maybe have seen already, if you haven't, check the video out. Please share it. Like I said, it's developing in this. In the what I mean is that not only did I just receive the video and just published it right here on Davy V TV, but also there, I'm working on trying to get additional video which possibly shows some more very disturbing behavior on the part of the Rochester, New York Police Department. So let me just bring you guys and girls up to speed. The video, I won't tell you everything. Obviously, I want you to watch it for yourself and share it. But basically, shout out to my man, Red. Some of you guys and girls have probably heard me, shouting them out in the past. Red is somebody who has, supported and followed not only my work, not only my blog, the Davy V blog, but also this channel, Davy V TV. And he's been following me and my work as far as police accountability and my advocacy work for the First Amendment protected right to record. So there he is, Red. Thank you, my brother, for not only for sending me the video and allowing me to share it on my platforms as another reminder of the bully, rogue, thug, gang-like mentality and behavior of the Rochester, New York Police Department. But also, big shout out and big thank you to you for being smart, for being informed, and for knowing your rights, and for your quick thinking to press record. Something that is so simple to do, but something that many folks, as you can see in the video, cops love intimidating. I see you, Sharon. Thank you for tuning back in. Red says anytime, brother. And I mean it though. I mean, as Red knows, and obviously trust me, as I know, my dad, as many of you know by now, committed suicide after a almost 2-year selective targeting by members of the Rochester, New York Police Department, who intimidated him and harassed him on an almost daily basis. I've talked on this channel and on all my platforms, including my blog, for years about something that I wish more and more so-called activists would talk about, and that is, a tactic that law enforcement officers use throughout the country, and that is a tactic of a psychological warfare, is what it is, that they instill on citizens that they target as retaliation. And when it comes to that, so thank you, Red. Thank you for not being intimidated, and for your quick thinking, and for recording the video. Now, again, I want you guys and girls to go on there and see the video for yourself. But basically, as Red has told me, he attended the Park Ave Festival yesterday, again, Saturday afternoon. And he and some friends basically witnessed the incident that is on the video. A man who was the one seen up against the RPD, Rochester, New York, in very, very close, in very, very close proximity to the man, basically right in his face, basically right in his personal space. And you'll see where I'm going in a minute. Again, while I'm describing this, I want you to think of one thing, one word: bully. Remember that word with every part that I'm going to describe about this video. Bully. Remember that word, bully. So the man is seen again against the vehicle. The Rochester, New York police officer is seen right in his personal space, literally just inches away from his, less than a foot away from his face, yelling at him repeatedly, cussing at the man, dropping the F-bomb, threatening to lock the man up in jail. In other words, threatening to take his freedom away. And for what? For the man dancing as he crossed the street, dancing. And again, the cop apologists, the bootlickers will no doubt defend the cop's actions. The cop apologists and the bootlickers will no doubt find a way to spin and deflect, taking accountability, and will obviously defend this cop to the fullest. Okay? So I'm not talking to the cop apologists and to the bootlickers. Okay? We already know their stance. The cops can do no wrong, right? These are individuals who are fine having their rights as Americans trampled on, and it's okay because, again, it's police officers, and as far as they're concerned, police officers can do no wrong. So we're not talking to that population. I'm trying to reach out to those who, even in the past, if they've disagreed with me, I appreciate that they've done so civilly, which is the way to, agree to disagree, so to speak. We're not going to see eye to eye, and that's fine. And I welcome, civil disagreement and respectful disagreement, right? I always say I don't want yes men. I don't want folks to just agree with me on everything. I want people to have their own opinions and their own thoughts and come to their own conclusions. But again, I'm talking to that population, not the population that's going to all the time give a rubber stamp to cops abusing their authority and their power. So I'm talking to that population of folks who I deem to be educated and informed and who can come to their own rational conclusions after watching something. So as you watch the video, I want you to pay close attention to the bully, again, bully tactics and behavior of this RPD cop, okay? I want you to also pay close attention how he continues to curse at the man and use the F-bomb. Okay, very unprofessional. I want you to pay close attention to how at one point in the video, and I already mentioned, also pay attention to how he repeatedly threatens to take this man's freedom away, to lock him up in a cage for dancing at a festival. Again, for dancing at a festival. Okay? It's so wrong and disgusting how they can get away with this. Thank you, Sharon. Absolutely. And thank you for having an open mind and for seeing what it is, seeing it for what it is. I've been accused of being a cop hater and everything. And of course, those accusations come from the cop apologists and the bootlickers, which I just described. And it's not about hating police. It's about hating rogue, above the law, entitled police officers who feel that, just like this cop, who feel that they can get away with anything because that badge and that vest and that uniform gives them the permission. And they're right. It does give them the permission, meaning that they're held to no accountability. Nothing will come of this video, I doubt that the Rochester, New York mainstream media will even pay any attention to it because, they're in cahoots. In many ways, they work hand in hand with law enforcement. And even if it did, it'll be one of those things that you may hear once in the news, which I doubt, and then you won't hear again. In other words, it'll be dismissed. It's just, but the importance, it's not about that. The importance is that once again, it captures the above the law mentality and rogue, bully-like, thug-like, gang member-like behavior of this law enforcement officer. So please also pay attention at the end of the video, and it's easy to miss this again if you're not really, watching closely. So I'm just pointing out these things I want you to watch for. At the end, there's a man who seems to be a friend of the individual. What's good? Who seems to be a friend of the individual being threatened by the Rochester police officer. And notice how the man basically is trying to de-escalate the situation, which is what the police should be doing, not escalate. And some of you have read my blog and have heard me over the years talk about how police officers, many times, instead of de-escalating and defusing the situation, they escalate and they, basically add fuel to the fire, which is exactly what this police officer is doing. Not only threatening the man repeatedly, not only intimidating the man, not only assaulting him by putting his hands on the man's property and throwing his hat to the back of the police pickup, but also cursing at him. And also basically at the end, I want you to watch for this. At the end, the man's friend basically makes a comment to the effect of he's apologized, meaning his friend. Well, basically, and that's what I mean. It's a power thing. It's an ego trip that police officers have. In this video, it's amazing because if you don't really see it, you won't see it. So I want you guys and girls to really pay attention. This video captures their behavior on every level. Not only does it capture the bully, above the law, rogue, thug-like mentality and behavior of the police officer, but it also catches the fact where at the end of the video, and please try to look for this, at the end of the video, the man's friend makes a comment, like I said, to the effect of he's apologized. See, it's become an ego thing for them. And this is what I've talked about for years. This video is a great video. Again, big shout out to Red, a longtime follower, a longtime fan of the channel, of my work. And I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. Because these are the little instances and incidents, disturbing incidents that go on every single day around the clock. But they're also the same incidents that many times go undocumented. So therefore, no one gets to see them. And cops are not going to tell on themselves. We already know that. We already know about the blue wall and the code of silence, right? So these are the things that are so important. So again, big shout out to Red for documenting this and for capturing this moment in time of intimidation and threats and an assault. Okay? Let's not downplay that. When you put your hands on someone or someone's property, it is an assault. And that is what you guys and girls are going to witness when you watch this video if you haven't done so already. This cop assaulted and intimidated this man, and basically because his ego trip is so big, he forced an apology because it's an ego thing. And this is what the city of Rochester, specifically Mayor Lovely Warren, okay, Rochester, New York Mayor Lovely Warren doesn't realize that realizes and just doesn't give a shit that these rogue bully cops are liability to the city. They're a liability. Notice how the cop, it's all about ego for him. He had no business and no reason whatsoever to assault this man by again, don't get it twisted. It is an assault when you put your hands on someone or their property, especially that property being right on the man's head. Only a bully does that. Only a, rogue, above the law, entitled cop, a dirty cop, would do something like that. Would intimidate another human being because he's a bully. So let's not downplay it. Let's not give this cop any free passes. Let's call it what it is. So notice at the end of the video again that the cop stares the man's friend down. When the man's friend tells the officers that when the man's friend tells the officers he's apologized. In other words, the man's friend is taking a stance of okay. Just chill. He's apologized. He was dancing. He crossed in front of the street. And by the way, those of you familiar with the Park Ave Festival or any kind of festival where streets get closed down, you're allowed to walk on the street. In fact, the Park Avenue Festival takes place on a street. It takes place on Park Avenue. I mean, I believe it's at least a mile stretch or close. I'm not good with distances, but it's a whole avenue. Basically, it's a whole avenue. Park Avenue is a whole avenue that gets a whole public city street that gets shut down. That's why the cops were there. Gets shut down for that very same reason. It's a festival. It's a festival held in the middle of a street, a very long street, an avenue. So again, this is all about, the guys dancing. It's like, it's a festival. And the Rochester, New York Police Department has a very long history of abusing, intimidating, and harassing innocent people, innocent citizens. And that's what this is. So again, notice at the end of the video, the cop stares down in a very, very intimidating fashion. Look for it. It's the last thing in the video. The man's friend, when the man's friend basically suggests and tells the officers, okay, he's apologized. In other words, the man's friend is telling them, is trying to tell the officers, chill. The man's friend, it's amazing. He's not a cop, and yet he possesses and has the skills necessary that more police officers should have, which is, again, is a de-escalative skill instead of an escalating skill. So what you see on this video, can you imagine how many innocent people this cop has abused? Look at him. Study his body language. Study his arms. Study how he has his chest out. Study how he's threatening the man repeatedly to lock him up. Study how he curses several times at the man, which is completely unprofessional. Study the bully-like mentality and behavior of this police officer, this public servant. And also study how, apart from repeatedly threatening the man to lock him up in a cage and take away his freedom for dancing in a street at a festival, notice how at the end, that same bully, thug-like, intimidating, threatening behavior, he uses it to stare down the man's friend who is clearly seen trying to de-escalate the situation and bring it down instead of escalating it. So watch the video. Stay tuned. I'm waiting on more video that may be out there, and I'm trying to track down more video that may be out there, which also shows some other disturbing behavior on the part of other Rochester, New York police officers involved in this very same incident. Possibly, and again, I'm working on getting the video. I don't have it yet. Possibly threatening to confiscate cell phones because they didn't want this video leaked. So stay tuned. And once again, thank you to everyone for tuning in as always. And a big, big shout out to my brother, Red, for capturing this video. Authority. Thank you. Stay tuned. Peace.